Green Bay, though, spent 20 minutes on Dallas. Let's talk about the winning team, the Green Bay Packers. I don't think I've ever seen so many things yesterday I've never seen before. I hope I don't sound like I'm overreacting, but honest to God, it was jarring. It'd be one thing for the Packers to win the game. It's another for them to just come in and, I mean, you wouldn't know. If somebody has never watched football before and say, hey, one team had the second best record of the conference, the other team literally had to win their last game to get in the playoffs in general. If I didn't know beforehand, if it didn't say 2 seed or whatever, I didn't know the 2 seed got the home game, you couldn't have told me that Dallas was the 2 seed and the Packers were the 7. But nonetheless, that's how the cookie crumbled over the course of the 18-week season. This is unprecedented what Green Bay is doing right now. Like, literally unprecedented. Favre, 3 MVPs, Super Bowl title. 92 to 07. A lot of playoff wins. Super Bowl, went to another Super Bowl, lost to Denver. Then from 08 to 2022, Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl title, 4 MVPs. And now you hand it off to a kid out of Utah State who in his first start in 2021 in Kansas City looked overwhelmed. Who last year with Aaron Rodgers having the worst season of his career, the Packers stood up there and said, yeah, we'll still start Aaron over the kid. And that was kind of for me like, dang, you want to at least see what you got in him? You're still roll with Aaron? My apologies, Brian Gutekunst. My apologies, Matt LaFleur. Y'all know what y'all doing. And I don't think I've ever seen this in a single season before. Through the first 9 games of the year, Jordan Love was at best, we'll be kind of an average quarterback. He was. We'll show you the stats in just a second. He was an average quarterback. And then just turning on a dime, the last 9 games, he's been insane. So the first 9 games goes from opening day against the Bears, in which he was amazing. And then the last of those 9 games was actually against my Steelers. He threw a huge goal line interception. Like he didn't play that well in that game. Pittsburgh barely survived, but that's because we still have Matt Canada. Then the last 9 goes from the Chargers win at Lambeau to yesterday. By the way, this graphic created by my man Alfred Parso Jr. Shout out to Alfred of the Grid Network and a good friend of mine. Look at this. Jordan Love's first 9 games. It doesn't even make sense. These are 2 different players. First 9 games, Jordan Love, 14 touchdowns, 10 picks, barely completed 52% of his passes. That's like Tebow numbers. Had a passer rating of 83.9 and a QBR of 49.6. His last 9 games, 21 he goes from 14 in 9 games to 21. So, essentially, multiple it repeats his touchdowns but adds 33%. Goes from 14 touchdowns to 21. Goes from 10 picks in his last 9 games to a single interception. Goes from 52% to 70% of his passes completed. Goes from a passer rating of 83, like kind of average, to, good Lord, that's like Mahomes and Brady stuff, 117. It goes from a QBR of 49.6 to a QBR of 76.6. I don't think we've ever seen this before in a single season. We've seen guys, I've talked before about how, like, Josh Allen had a horrible rookie year and then came back year 2 and was really good. And then obviously we know the player he is now. Jared Goff, disastrous rookie year. Came back year 2, looked amazing. We've seen year 1 to year 2, but that's a whole offseason. That's 8 months. You're telling me in like 8 days he can switch this around? He goes from, God, that's a backup quarterback, to, holy cow, that's a top 10 quarterback. He's better than Rodgers. I've never seen an in-season turnaround by a quarterback mid-season in my life like this. Maybe it's the fact that he is in year 4. Maybe it's the fact that he's been in this offense. He's practiced it for the last 3 years coming into this year. And it took him a little bit of time to build rapport with the receivers, to get comfortable in the Matt LaFleur system. Because I remember talking about, there was a game they played against Detroit on a Thursday night. Then they played the Raiders like a week or 2 later. And I remember saying on the show, like, he doesn't look that comfortable in the pocket. He's just kind of antsy, dancing around, making quick, rash decisions. Like, I don't like what I'm seeing right now. To, my God, his mechanics look just like Aaron. These off-platform throws, these just quick whip. It's incredible. And listen, Green Bay is a double-digit underdog at San Francisco. They should be. The Niners have the best team in all of football. I should say, the best roster in all of football. I think the Ravens are the best team right now. They should be double-digit dogs, but I don't know. I'm not thinking I'm not thinking the Niners are going to humiliate them. Going to beat them by 20 or 30 points or something. Green Bay's in good shape. Youngest team in the playoffs since the 1974 Buffalo Bills. So essentially a half century. And they come in, mop the floor with Dallas. Some of this was Dallas just screwing up in terms of coaching. And in terms of personnel, they weren't near as good as everybody thought they were. I was one of the few to say that. Some of this is just, wow, Green Bay has aced the draft the last few years. Christian Watson, who was kind of beat up, didn't really make that much of an impact yesterday, but still got him. Romeo Doubs, who was outstanding. Luke Musgrave and Reed, who wasn't that impactful, and Wicks and Aaron Jones. Like, they got that other kid, that backup running back. I'm forgetting his name. Where A.J. Dillon was out of this game, that the backup running back came in and did a good job. I'm like, they're in pretty good shape. This offensive line, nobody develops offensive lines better than the Packers. Feels like it's going to be Detroit, Green Bay for a while in that division. Chicago, we'll see what they do if they take Caleb Williams, which they should. Minnesota is always going to be good, not good enough. Get ready for the next decade of Jordan Love. I was dead wrong on this kid. I was. I said last week I was wrong in the sense that the Packers got a franchise guy. Now, they don't have a franchise guy. They have an elite guy. Jordan Love's that dude, man. He's really good. And the rapport he has with these young guys. And I'm sorry, I went here last week. I'll go here today. Matter of fact, if I can pull up the graphic from a week ago when I did this about, hang on, where I compared two quarterbacks. And I hate people are going to get on me for this, whatever. Facts are the facts. I mean, stats don't care about your opinion. Do we have this here? The graphic? Okay, here we go. So there's two quarterbacks right here. One on the left is Jordan Love. That's his regular season numbers for the year. The other one on the right is a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's Love and Rodgers. Love this year, Rodgers last year. Love is better in literally every single statistical category outside of completion percentage, which Rodgers beats him by 0.4 points. So barely. And Rodgers did not take near the shots down the field last year that Love does this year. And Love, better leadership, no drama, has a good rapport with the wide receivers. Yeah. I said I was initially skeptical, and then I'll move on to Detroit. I was very skeptical about the Rodgers to the Jets trade. I was like, this isn't going to work. I don't like this fit. He's an older guy going to a losing franchise. He's a bad leader. Drama. And then about 3 months later, 3 months later, I kind of sat back and I was like, well, let's see. We've had a bunch of quarterback trades in the last 4 years. Or not quarterback trades, but like Brady left New England to go to Tampa or was pushed out of New England. Stafford, more on him later, was traded by the Lions to the Rams. And then Russell traded by the Broncos to the Seahawks. Now you have Rodgers traded from the Packers to the Jets. And there's always in those splits been a clear winner. Always. Brady was the clear winner going to Tampa. Stafford was the clear winner, although not as much today, but he did get a Super Bowl, so Stafford won. Like, Stafford got a Super Bowl. Detroit's in a good spot now. More on them in literally just a second. But then Russell to Seattle. Seattle won that trade clearly. Clearly won that trade. Russell's probably not going to be a Bronco next year. I know Seattle fired Pete Carroll, which doesn't really make sense to me, but Seattle won that trade, got a bunch of picks, got some good players out of that. And I said, there's going to be a winner out of this. So am I going to trust, and this was where I messed up, the Hall of Fame quarterback? I get he's going to a losing franchise, but they have a great defense, and Garrett Wilson and the Packers. I have not liked at all what I've seen from Jordan Love up to this point. They haven't started him yet. Well, I was right about the fact that there was a clear winner. I was just wrong on who the winner was. Hey, doesn't hurt me to admit I'm wrong. Doesn't hurt me at all. Shout out to the Packers and shout out to Jordan Love. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.